Rosetta Wolf and myself have been together for, God knows, at the beginning of time, really, more than 33 years, I think. And we share a lot of things. And one of the most important things that manifests, woman manifests itself in our work is female mythology. And the mermaid that she did was something that she created in France about 25 years ago, I think now. And we were absolutely astounded and delighted to hear about the story of the watermaid, the water maiden of the Karoo when we arrived here. Because the Karoo was once covered by the ocean, and it is said that when the ocean pulled back, some creatures were trapped in various dams and ponds, rivers. And here, nearby where we are, Lacruga, is at Meiringspoort. This is a very important watermaid. And she has very similar qualities to the mermaid in Europe. That she lures you, seduces you, and then takes you down. And that kind of coincides with one of my themes in my work, in my life. Opposites. Fascinating, and the point whereby these opposites meet on this axis, I find very intriguing. So good and evil, male and female, and heaven and hell. Flying and falling. So I mean that's back to the mermaid dragging you down. It's Icarus, Lucifer falling, or flying too high. I'm a very arrogant person. My mother used to say, pride you'll fall. Pride precedes falling. So far I haven't. Oh no, what am I talking about? Of course I have. I'm doing it all the time. I fly and fall, fly and fly, fly and fly. When I was about 9, I got a certificate in art from my art teacher, who saved my life, really. It was a very unhappy, torturous youth in South Africa, and on the certificate were the Greek masks of comedy and tragedy. And I had never seen anything like this, and it stirred something enormous in me. And I can visualize it right now. I was sitting there, drawing them, or trying to draw them, and not really succeeding in drawing what was on the certificate. And one can say that maybe I'm not so good at copying, But yet one can also say that's what I've been doing that's all my life, presenting these opposite concepts. Masks fascinating. You know, people there are two kinds of people. Those who are drawn to masks, and those who are afraid of them, and both for the same reason, that you become someone or something else when you put on a mask. Always as a child, because we were really, brought up in a very Calvinist environment, and so what was very scandalous were women with wearing a lot of makeup, and I adored, I loved it. I loved men who wore a lot of makeup, like David Bowie, phenomenal, and the persona that he created via his various forms of makeup, and the idea that wearing a mask is being two-faced is a particularly Calvinist one. I mean, this is not true of Japanese culture, it's not true of West African culture, whereby, or Greek tragedy for that matter, or Greek tragedy or Greek comedy, were by putting on the mask, you become the other persona. And in West African religions, Japan, you become the deity. You empty yourself, and the deity can enter you. People often ask me about, Andy Warhol. One woman who came on a tour and signed Andy Warhol in my client. She shouted, "Oh, Hennie, could you, Andy Warhol, in your toilet?" I met him on a few occasions. Yeah, he was a very nasty piece of work. I mean, he was ruthless. I heard the other day that there was a dancer who had taken LSD and jumped out of the window of the factory, committing suicide. And Warhol said, "I wish he told us he was going to do this so we could have filmed it." And so I met him, first time as an outcome hand, limp-wristed hand, and he looked around at somebody more interesting than me. Second time, I have a friend who's a very famous rock and roll star, and his wife had a baby, and I was the godfather, and I was in New York, and I wanted to get some black clothes for the baby, and this was not, one couldn't find it anywhere. But except that there was this shop, it's a sort of second-hand shop in Greenwich Village called Basically Black, which sold only black clothes, and there I could find baby's clothes that were black. It's a rock and roll song. I'm walking down the road, and up came Andy Warhol, yeah, and again Lyndon Brewster, gave my friend a copy of his magazine interview, and ignored me. But then things happened. I mean, I don't display all my artwork here. I mean, some of them are sort of in vaults. There's one, you know, I call my pension money of Warhol painting, photographing and painting both part of my anatomy. Yeah, those were, you know, it's great. And I talked to the Dr. Sue Dean, who is a paleontologist who lives here in Prince Albert, and she is working towards the restoration of the Karoo. And I said to her the other day, why are you doing this? You know, I mean, I admire what you're doing here, but why? Because I mean, this is just, you know, I mean, a drop in the ocean. I mean, uranium mining, what is going to happen and destroy the world. But uranium mining is taking place all over the world, and its global footprint says climate change. You know, somebody like the American president says does not exist, and yet I have seen it here in 7 years or so that I've lived here. Every year the droughts get longer and longer, and then the rainfalls more severe and extreme. There is no doubt that we are just heading for self-destruction. And she said yes, but she said, why do you continue with your art? What else is there to do? And that's what I try to do. I try to create art that makes people think. Lift their spirits. And that's what happens when people come and experience this one-man show that I do. They leave with an altered consciousness, always, which is wonderful, and wonderful to get that kind of feedback. This is probably the last year that I'm going to do that. I'm working on putting it online and detaching myself. I mean, I'm recoiling really from people, from humanity, if one can use that word to describe people. And yeah, I'm going to be working more intimately with individual artists and put the show online, because this is the final stage of my life, which is the last dance with death. Oh, what a relief that will be, I tell you. What a fucking relief. It's, the only thing is, you know, I mean, the only thing is that the last stretch between living and dying is so painful But I am determined to make it into a work of art, to make it something spectacular. La danse macabre.